You may be seated. On this day, in this feast, is fulfilled the earnest expectation of the generations of faithful from the old covenant. Those who heard the promise of God that redemption, that reconciliation would come. Those who heard and obeyed the words of the law in earnest expectation that somehow through a child born of the seed of Abraham, the seed of David, would be born one who would make things right. Indeed, we may say the entire purpose of the Lord's calling the children of Israel was to raise up this vessel whose birth we celebrate today, in whom we would see the incarnate God enter into our midst. This is our celebration today. We rejoice with the generations who hoped and did not see, for now their expectation is fulfilled. And we who hold grace, who are blessed to stand in the faith of Jesus Christ, we rejoice together with them at the coming of our deliverance through this child whose birth we celebrate today. We like to think about questions of birthright, about what it is that we deserve and what we possess. We like to focus on what are the rules that justify our possession of faith, that guarantee our receiving of blessings. We are not so different from Martha, who was consumed when the Lord came to her house, God himself present in her home. She was consumed not with hearing him, with communing with him, with being with him, but with making sure she did everything right. She was so worried about doing the right thing that she did entirely the wrong thing. She missed the point. She lost the chance to visit when God came to visit with her because she was worried about plates and bowls and tablecloths. She had an idea of how religion was supposed to work, and she lost sight of the truth because she was consumed with these things. We see the same point from a different perspective with the final verses, when the Lord is preaching and the woman raises up her voice and says, "Blessed is the womb that bore you and the breasts that nurtured you." And we agree. This is the point of this feast. We celebrate, we honor the one who nourished the Son of God, whose birth we celebrate today, as we see in the icon in the back. We agree with the voice of the woman who says that her womb is blessed, that her nurturing is an honor to womankind always. But the Lord does not agree, apparently. He said, rather, blessed are those who hear and do the word of God. As we begin this new year of salvation, this new ecclesiastical year, as we celebrate the beginning of the Lord's economy of salvation, his work of deliverance in our midst through the birth of the Virgin Mary, the vessel of his entrance into this world. As we begin again our Christian lives, we must evaluate, we must consider our own selves, our identity, our priorities. Do we hold to legalistic details that we think will justify us? Or do we hold fast to Christ and hear his voice and receive his presence with us? Do we consider ourselves blessed because of our nationality, because of our language, or even because we came through the colimvitro, the baptismal font, and forget that the blessing comes not because of these external details, but because these external details introduce us into the presence of God Himself, whose voice we are blessed to hear, whose life we are called to share. Blessed are those who hear the word of God and do it, not simply those who happen to be in the same room as that voice when he speaks good tidings. In short, it is not enough to be here. It is not enough to hear. We must receive. We must be transformed. And then we will be united. We will share in these same blessings of the Lord that we celebrate coming into our midst today. With this mind, with this heart, with this zeal to truly hear, to truly see, to truly receive and commune with God in our midst, let us stand and let us continue the divine liturgy. Again, we bow before you and pray to you, O good and loving God.